Will you miss me when I'm gone? Share my stories, sing my songs. Keep the memories of me strong in your heart where they belong.
This is kind of a story about being together. When I was 2 years old, my family moved from Saskatchewan, Canada, to a new suburb of Minneapolis called Ridgefield. And for as long as I can remember, the Harvest Festival, called the Minnesota State Fair, has always been a part of my life. At first it was Mom and Dad and 3 or 4 kids, always stopping at the dairy building where the big, beautiful, shiny stainless steel truck stood out in front. And we had a bottomless glass of milk. Of course, it cost 10 cents. Years later, it became just me and my dad standing at the top of a vertical wooden wall where people were racing around in circles on antique Indian motorcycles. They called them Hell Riders. I also remember once when he and I were stranded at the top of a huge Ferris wheel in the dark, which gave us an amazing view of the fairgrounds all lit up. Then in early adolescence, my cousins and I would walk over from their house, sneaking in over the back fence, till one day we saw a sheriff's deputy on a horseback giving a kid who was doing the same thing right behind us a little discouragement with a wooden nightstick. After that, we came in through the gate. And finally, it was just me and Mom driving over in her beautiful old, old Oldsmobile, early in the cool fall morning, before there were too many people there. We would always stop and have a turkey sandwich from a stand near the Hippodrome, now they call it the Coliseum, and the horse barns, which were her favorite places. The stand was run by friends of my little brother from his home in Perham. And then we'd wander around a little bit and eventually end up at the cheese curd stand before we went home around midday. And when it all became a little bit too much for her, I realized I was also feeling that way. Even though I was 23 years her junior, I was kind of done with the fair. Although there were a few exceptions. The first was an old friend of mine who was sponsoring some ribbons at the craft area in honor of his parents. His father, a third generation Swedish carpenter, and his mom, a homemaker, like most of the women in the 50s and 60s, at least in our neighborhood. The second trip entailed me just going up on my own to do some activist work outside of the main gate. And finally, when my niece and her family drove up from Kansas to go to the fair with my sister, I joined them for one last visit. And when they left at the end of the day, the sun was going down and the lights were coming on. So I decided to take a walk around the Midway. It was a sweet, melancholy mix of past and present, memories of old joints, oddities of all kinds, and heart-pounding rides. And then it was over. Time to go home. And as I walked toward the exit, I heard from behind me what sounded like a young father speaking to his daughter, saying, "Sarah, wait. Can we just stand here a few more minutes? Because when we go through that gate, summer's over." I made my exit without looking back.
A year and a half ago, my son died, many of you know that, and we shared love of photography. So after he died, and then COVID coming, I decided I really needed something to lift my spirits. So I bought a new camera, and I decided that I was going to focus on photographing birds. So what's being passed out are some of the birds that I have photographed down at the lower arb. As I am looking at them and I am out in the nature, I am seeing and hearing and listening, and I'm feeling totally in that moment. So that has been really truly a way to lift my spirits. The other thing that's given me some wisdom and beauty is in reading, and I have a little excerpt here from William Kruger's new novel, Lightning Strikes. Maybe some of you are mystery readers. He's a Minnesota writer, and writes mysteries that take place in northern Minnesota. And many of his characters are Native Americans. And so in preparation for listening to this excerpt, I'd like you to close your eyes and imagine yourself in a dark night with a new moon, so there's not much light, but the stars are out. And you are 12 years old. You're with your father and a couple of friends, and you are sitting around a campfire, and this Native American is talking to you and telling you this. But tonight, around this fire, it is not about trying to understand or weight us beyond this life. It is about enjoying the gift in this moment together, here under these stars, as the night sings to us. The joy of your friendships, of your family, of moments like this when our spirits touch, this will always be with you. When the journey ahead takes you to the darkest places, the joy in these memories will be a part of the light that helps you see your way through.
Will you miss me when I'm gone? Share my stories, sing my songs. Keep the memories of me strong in your heart where they belong. When you hear the redbirds sing, know that winter's turned to spring. When the wind blows through the trees, I'm the rustling of the leaves. Will you miss me when I'm gone? Share my stories, sing my song. Keep the memories of me strong in your heart where they belong. When the day has turned to night, when the darkness dims the light, if a tear comes to your eyes, know that I am by your side. Will you miss me when I'm gone? Share my stories, sing my songs. Keep the memories of me strong in your heart where they belong. Try to understand our time as an ending undefined. Only love can truly bind what you seek with what you find. Will you miss me when I'm gone? Share my stories, sing my songs. Keep the memories of me strong in your heart where they belong. In your heart where they belong.